Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Aloe Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela, they let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit aloefiber.com to switch today.
Hey everyone, Lance here with Black Label. We specialize in creating custom crafted decks, pergolas, patio covers, and more. Plus, our retractable screens, gazebos, and patio enclosures create the ultimate outdoor retreat. With over 50 years of combined experience, we're not just builders, we're creators of unforgettable memories.
Call them today at 402-730-6333 or visit blacklabelbuilt.com for a free consultation.
Let's turn your backyard dreams into reality.
Black Label Built, built to serve, built to last. Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, realignment, or even new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at doorsplusllc.com or give them a call at 402-590-5800.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Greens at 402-467-4444 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-467-4444.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. It is Old School, brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Special ingredient butcher shop, 84th and Havelock, 84th and I believe Pioneers, 30th and Yankee Hill here in Lincoln. I'm Austin Oerman with you for the next hour before Jay Foreman gets in. Then we'll go for an hour ahead of the Corner 3 and high school basketball on the air tonight. It's a Friday night. That means high school hoops. I know Nick will be on the call. Maybe a little conflict of interest for our own Jay Foreman. Curious to see what the decision is on that one. Either way, Jay will be in studio with me for hour 2 of Old School. So until then, it's you, it's me hanging out on your drive home. Hopefully you're off work, you're headed home. O Street's starting to pick up with a little bit more traffic. Whether you're on your way home or whether you're sitting in the cubicle, last 48 minutes of work for the week for you. Glad you're here. Glad you're along for the ride. Lots to get to. I know Jay's going to want to talk about the NIL and Title IX stuff, so we'll save some of those big picture discussions for him. But if you haven't had a chance to sound off on Husker men's basketball or Husker women's basketball, now's your chance, right? We got some time. Let's talk through it. 402-464-5685. That is our Sartor Heyman Jewelers text line. Really appreciate them. They are just one block down from us here in Lincoln over at 12th and O Street. Go check them out for all your jewelry needs. Big event, little event, big occasion, little occasion, whatever it is. You know our friends at Sartor Heyman Jewelers will treat you right. Again, 402-464-5685 if you've got thoughts, or go ahead and drop a comment on stream, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter up and running for you. We were not able to get to this during On the Block. We had a lot of other big picture discussions going on. So I definitely want to go back to some of those texts about Husker basketball. And if you have any thoughts, again, send them in here. So 0508, hope you're still listening. He says, crazy statement. Sam Hoiberg has made a significant improvement from last year. I asked him to explain because I didn't necessarily see it. 0508 says, I would say last year he would have an occasional high energy play. From my perspective, it seems he's more consistently getting steals, rebounds, and making passes and getting much smarter shooting the basketball. You'd also have to imagine his 3-point percentage is better this year and getting more minutes than last year. So let's just go to the basic stats before we get to the eye test here. Sam Hoiberg right now has played in all 17 games that Nebraska's played in. He's played 323 minutes. So that breaks out to just a tick under 20 minutes a game. In fact, I might be right at 19, but my math is failing me. So 19, 20 minutes per game for Sam Hoiberg. He's on the floor about half the time. In those 17 games, he's taken 38 shots, made 19 of them. He is 6 of 15 from 3, which is a big step up from last year when he was just 15 of 49. Some of the other stuff going on here, Sam Hoiberg has 29 assists to his name this year compared to 16 turnovers. He's also pulled down 37 rebounds. So stats would tell you, yep, Sam Hoiberg has probably improved a little bit across the board, maybe taken a few less shots on offense on a per game basis, but he's being more efficient with them. And that to me is really the goal of Sam Hoiberg on offense. If he gets a kick out, knock it down. If he gets a layup in transition off a steal, go coast to coast, take it home, put it down. That's all fine. Sam Hoiberg is not necessarily an offensive engine for this team, because when he tries to be, that's when Nebraska gets in a little bit of trouble. I would be curious to go back and track the turnovers from Sam, because just anecdotally, it kind of feels like teams are daring him to drive. Sam has a really good first step. He is incredibly decisive and can get past his man when they have a bad closeout on him. He does a really good job of getting into the paint, and Nebraska's taught to play off 2 feet, and Sam does a great job of that. Problem is, Sam is listed at 6 foot tall, and when you drive into the trees like that, when they want you to drive, that's where I think a lot of his turnovers have come. I would like to see Sam be a little more aggressive shooting the basketball, because when he gets into the trees, he's not necessarily looking to score. It's been tough for him to find angles consistently to score. Haven't seen nearly as many reverse layups from him. Again, it's great that he's getting into the paint and he's trying to distribute and kick out to others, but Sam isn't always on the court with a bunch of knockdown shooters and the floor spread where he can make these quick decisions and keep the offense moving. It feels to me like Sam is being baited into driving into the lane, and then when he plays off at 2 feet, again, like he's coached, teams know that, so they swarm him. They can get hands up, they can get in passing lanes, and it's just kind of been hard for him to make some decisions there. So offensively, kind of a mixed bag, I would say. Overall, shooting numbers are better. Decision-making, I'm curious to see. Defensively, that's an interesting one. It's still so much easier to judge offense than it is defense, really, regardless of the sport you're playing. I don't know if I would say Sam has made more splash plays this year than last year, that we're seeing more of him show up on film, because Sam's the same guy he's always been, right? He's a hard worker. He's consistent. He's jumping passing lanes. He's pressuring the ball. He's communicating. He's rotating. He's flying around. He's diving out of bounds to save loose balls. Sam's just playing basketball like Sam Hoiberg. And I respect that about the young man. I really do. Despite other guys maybe being up and down, coming and going, I think Sam's been the same guy his entire time at Nebraska, doing exactly what he's asked to do for the most part. Now, I think you can point to some moments with Sam Hoiberg, but to me, the best stretch of Sam's career will always be at the end of that 2022-23 season, where he was the catalyst in a lot of ways. On the defensive end, hit some timely open shots as Nebraska went 6 of 8 to end the year to get back to a 500 record. So I don't know if this is the best basketball Sam is playing. I think he's still the same player, and the results in the stat sheet are probably about what they've been the last couple of years of his career. But there's a spot on a Big Ten roster for a guy like Sam Hoiberg and what he provides Nebraska. I wouldn't necessarily say he looks slower. I don't know if I would agree with that. Again, I think Sam is who he is. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think the more you ask Sam to do, the more you put on his shoulders, the worse it is. I think Sam's that guy that can play heavy minutes because he's a dog. He's got that in him. He's going to compete. But I do think eventually game plan catches up to him. And if Sam's going to continue shooting 40% from 3, even if he shoots 37% on higher volume, I'd like to see that, maybe prevent a few turnovers, knock down a few more threes. And that wouldn't be selfish, right? I'm not saying Sam Hoiberg needs to go hunt shots, but I'm saying with the paint collapse, or if Sam has enough space to get a shot off, it might be better for him to take an open 3 instead of drive the paint. So No major complaints with what Nebraska is getting from Sam Hoiberg in 2024-25 for me. 1508. Is Nebraska the same team as last year? We just don't have Tominaga to bail the team out this year. No, Nebraska is not the same team as last year. And Strick and I got into this a little bit. And it's one of the major conundrums with Nebraska men's basketball. The reason that Nebraska is not the same team as last year is because they don't have one of the best shot creators in the country in Keisei Tominaga. I mean, Keisei Tominaga hit so many bad shots, so many contested shots that absolutely bailed Nebraska out a number of times. But Keisei also created a lot of open shots, and open is a much more relative term to him than it is for a lot of the guys on the roster. Keisei could create his own looks a whole lot easier than a lot of these guys on the team this year. So losing Keisei Tominaga is a big blow. But I do still think that the biggest differentiator for Nebraska is the injury to Rink Mast. I really believe that was Nebraska's advantage over other teams in the Big Ten, is having a 5-man who can stretch out on the perimeter, is pretty comfortable handling, meaning that you saw Point Rink at times last year. You saw him used as the hub for a lot of Nebraska's offense because he was such a good passer for a big man. Could step out and shoot the three, could take a bigger, slower postman off the dribble, could post a smaller wing defender up with a mismatch and go to work down low. And that, to me, is the identity that Nebraska is going for. And they don't have him on this year's team. I mean, yes, he's on the team, but he's not available as he recovers from his offseason knee surgery. So Nebraska is not the same teams in terms of the personnel, but Nebraska is playing the same way in terms of the style. Now, they're not asking Braxton Mia or Andrew Morgan or Berke Buitengel to play the position the exact same way that Rink Mast did, right? There are certainly tweaks in the offense. It's not the same. It's putting a lot more pressure on Bryce Williams to create, where he's okay at it. He's getting better at it, but it's still maybe not his biggest strong suit. Raleigh Wooster. I've been, high on Raleigh throughout the year. I think he's doing exactly what you brought him in here to do. I don't know how much more Raleigh Wooster can elevate his game. I think he is what he is at this point. He's been exactly as advertised. Juwan Gary is asked to shoulder a heavier offensive load for this team than he would be if he were, say, still a member of the Alabama Crimson Tide. I think Juwan's being asked to do more than he's maybe comfortable with on a consistent basis. I mean, that's a guy that had 20 points after like 22, 23 minutes of game time and then didn't score again the rest of the game. It comes and goes. I think that Nebraska's defensive style is the exact same as it has been for the last couple years. That is to their credit and to their detriment, right? And Nebraska is going to die how it lives. It's going to live how it dies. We had this conversation a little bit, but I think it's worthwhile to bring up. I was wrong when Nebraska went to Creighton, right? I thought Nebraska could have gone to the game plan where they either let Kalkbrenner eat, get his, or they do everything to take Kalkbrenner away and make other guys beat him. That's what Nebraska did. He had a pretty big game from Pop Isaacs before he goes down. Jemiah Neal was okay. And then, the stretch fours for Creighton didn't hit. The wings didn't necessarily hit. Ashworth was okay, hit a couple big ones, but it was a little bit too little too late for the Jays. And again, Creighton shot terribly from three that game. Isaac Trotter brought it up with us during On the Block. In Nebraska's 5 losses, the opponents have shot better than 39% from three. In Nebraska's 12 wins, it's been worse than 39% from three, right? That right there tells you a lot about what you need to know about this team. And I was talking with some other people offline trying to get ready for the show and get my thoughts together on this. And someone sent a quote from, it was Randy Bennett, funny enough, after the St. Mary's game. Here's what Randy Bennett said in his post-game presser about Nebraska. They're going to trap the post every time. When you drive baseline, they're going to rotate hard. And so long as you keep it simple, we say just, hey, hit single. So I was saying just make this simple pass, get it out of there and move it. Then you'll get another. They'll get it. They'll get themselves in positions where their 5 is closing out on R1 or their 4 is closing out on R2. So that's what I attribute St. Mary's good shots to, is we'll get them in rotations right off that first one. Fred Hoiberg didn't address that quote specifically, but in a roundabout way brought it up last night as well. He says that if Nebraska is going to continue its strategy of doubling as soon as there is a post entry, it's got to force a different reaction. Last night against Rutgers, previous game against Purdue, previous game against Iowa, it forced some bad rotation, some long closeouts, and they looked even longer than they might have been because those passes were able to be made on a line. If you're going to be a defense that traps, you have to be not only active, not only communicative, but you have to be disruptive. And disruption can take the form of getting steals, of getting tips, of getting deflections. That's one way. Or the other way you disrupt is you throw off the timing. You force that pass, and this is what Fred Hoiberg specifically noted, you force that pass out of the post to be loopy, to have a little bit of an arc to it, not on a straight line, right? You make them throw a curveball instead of a fastball. It throws shooters' rhythm off, and most importantly, it gives your guys time to rotate out to shooters, force either a more contested shot or force them to put the ball on the ground and make a decision. And Nebraska has been taking its chances with that for the better part of the last 2 or 3 seasons. When it works, it works. When Nebraska rebounds, it works. When other teams miss shots, it works. But now, the last 3 games, teams have hit from 3 against Nebraska, and it doesn't look nearly as good. Yes, Nebraska can be a little cleaner. Yes, Nebraska can always give a little bit more effort, be more locked in on a possession-to-possession basis. But basketball's a make-or-miss game. At the end of the day, it is a make-or-miss game. Teams are making against Nebraska right now. Part of that is shooting luck, right? Maybe teams shot poor against Nebraska and it's catching up to them. Maybe teams are on a heater and they're going to cool back off. But either way, that's great in the big picture. That's great in the long term. Problem is, when you've lost 2 games in a row, you come back home before you head back all the way out east to Maryland, you got to find a way to win that game. You thought Nebraska had the upperclassmen at home who would take over, win that game late over a couple freshmen. Well, guess what? Youth and talent won out over experience and continuity and veterans last night. Okay, that happens. Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey are really good, but Nebraska didn't necessarily make those guys' lives difficult. Nebraska stuck to its game plan, which, again, is to its credit. This is year 3 of Fred Hoiberg 2.0. We want this program to establish an identity, to figure out what it wants to be known for, to figure out what it's going to do every night consistently, and do it consistently, hold guys to a consistent standard, so that becomes your identity, which gives you something to recruit to. I am not knocking Nebraska for staying in the defense it is, if that's what it wants to do long-term moving forward in the big picture. But in the short term, in the little picture, when you stop looking at the forest and you boil it down to the trees, what happens is some frustration because you don't see, the mythical halftime adjustments like we talk about in football and basketball especially, right? When you don't see that in a game that feels like it's very important, and I'm not saying last night wasn't important. It had big game feel. It was a really good basketball game last night. It was a fun basketball game to watch. Nebraska just came out on the other side. You can still stick to your identity, stick to your guns, have your game plan and be consistent with it, but still provide a second answer to the test. When someone has cracked your code, you have to have a fallback plan in the Big Ten. The coaching is too good. The athletes, I think, are getting better, and especially against guys that are going to go in the top 5 in this coming NBA draft in Harper and Bailey, you got to have a different answer. You got to have a changeup. Rutgers' first possession of the second half went zone. Nebraska busted it with the lob to Braxton Mia. Okay, you showed it once. It gave Nebraska something to think about. You didn't use it again. But if you're Nebraska, do you have that defensive changeup? Do you have a 1-2-2 press to throw the other team off? Do you have a half-court 1-3-1 like we saw at times under Tim Miles? Can you go 2-3? Can you go matchup zone? Can you go switch everything? Can you go switch nothing? Can you stop doubling the post? Can you identify guys to double in the post where if this guy catches it in this spot, we go? If this other guy catches it there, okay, we'll take our chances with our defender versus this maybe less comfortable mid-post operator. But we didn't see any of that from Nebraska. And that's the tricky balance that I think Fred Hoiberg and his staff are walking right now, is that they're still trying to build that identity on the defensive side. Maybe they want to lean into that, get really good at it, because when it works, it does work for Nebraska. This was a top 10 outfit defensively for Nebraska using that strategy. But when it doesn't work, when it seems like teams have cracked the code, and when you're playing upper-level talent, again, like Harper and Bailey, who won't be the last, you see a really good point guard in Jackson Shellstad coming up soon. You'll see Ace Baldwin. You'll see Kasparas Yakushonis coming up soon. We just talked with Isaac Trotter about as well. sometimes you got to provide your guys a different answer, a different solution to a problem, especially when you're at a talent disadvantage across the board, right? Not saying Rutgers was better position by position. Rutgers clearly had the two best players on the floor last night in Harper and Bailey. When you're out talented, you've got to outcoach. And sometimes you get outcoached, but you can overcome that when you're more talented. Rutgers wins a close one. It hurts for Nebraska men's basketball, and y'all still have plenty of thoughts. Let's take our first break of the show here on Old School. More Nebraska-Rutgers reaction with your questions from the text line when we get back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solution. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
The Body Lab, located at 14th and Yankee Hill, is Lincoln's premier physical therapy and recovery lab. The Body Lab offers trigger point dry needling, cupping therapy, joint manipulation, and so much more. Looking to relax and relieve stress after a long day or difficult workout? The Body Lab's recovery lab is the ideal spot. Featuring infrared sauna, a cold plunge tub, or if you're just looking for enough space to stretch out and reset your mind. Learn more about memberships and schedule your service today at thebodylablnk.com or visit the Body Lab in person at 14th and Yankee Hill Road. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100 and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Salt Mine City is now open at 8th and R in the Haymarket. Come check out Lincoln's newest brewery with 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager, Brick Street Amber Wheat, and so many more. There's daily drink specials like $1 off Moscow Mules on Tuesdays, $6 IPAs on Fridays, and $6 Bloody Marys on Saturdays. Stop by Tuesday through Thursday from 4 to 9 p.m., Fridays 4 to 11 p.m., Saturdays 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sundays from noon to 8 p.m. It's Salt Mine City, Lincoln's newest brewery at 8th and R.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Allow me to get a bit sappy. For women, jewelry isn't just a gift. It's a timeless symbol of love and appreciation. You have to get this right. No fleeting trends or gadgets will make the impact. Every time she wears it, every time she gets a compliment, you win. Trust me, guys. You'll get your money worth. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solution offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions, 2040 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
Back to Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Old School, brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Don't forget, every Friday, Fired Up Fridays at the 84th and Havelock location here in Lincoln. A different Mercado specialty meal today was a muffaletta. Again, 11 to 2 on Fridays. Every Friday, the 84th and Havelock location. First come, first serve, usually runs you $10 to $15. You can get a side and a drink for a little bit more than that as well. So definitely make sure you check that out at the Mercado on 84th and Havelock. Diving back into the Nebraska men's basketball discussion, we're back on the text line here, brought to you by Sartor Heyman Jewelers. 23-12. What were your thoughts on clock management at the end of the men's game last night? I thought Nebraska waited too long to foul, and I thought they burned too much time when they had the ball offensively. I mean, easy to say in retrospect. I'm not accusing you of saying hindsight is 20/20 or anything. It hurt that Nebraska also had an additional foul to give by the end of the game, which was a good thing throughout the course of the game, except when you get down, you need to foul late. Took a little bit of time off the clock. I also do think that part of that is Nebraska believed in its ability to get stops that it just wasn't able to do. You don't really start fouling with 2.5 minutes to go. Rutgers got a bucket on that possession, I think, in and one. Maybe that was just the Harper finish at the rim, but you really only start fouling when you're under 2 minutes, typically when you're under about 1.5 minutes or so. Nebraska cut it to a possession or 4 points at the very least. So I'm not against the decision to foul a little bit later. I can understand the thought process behind it. On the offensive end, yeah, I do think Nebraska could have gone a little bit quicker in a couple of instances. I think you do have to credit Rutgers to some degree in their defense, but I also think that part of that is just how the roster is constructed, is that it's hard for Nebraska to manufacture quick shots on any sort of consistent basis. Where could Nebraska have gotten an earlier shot is if they had gotten a stop, right? It's hard to run in transition unless you repeatedly coach it and drill it into a team like Michigan State does, where you're even running off of makes. And Rutgers was doing a good job of crashing the offensive glass, 17 of them for the game. So there might have been some more opportunities for Nebraska to run off of a make. They didn't take advantage of it, and they didn't get many stops down the stretch. Rutgers finished 5 of its last 6 from the field, and that was about that. They could get back. They could get a set defense. And this will bring us into our next topic, right? Nebraska struggling to consistently manufacture some offense in the half court. Lemon says the offensive ball movement continues to be lacking from what it needs to be. Bryce Williams is a great shooter, but Nebraska isn't doing much to get him open, just letting him dribble and take contested shots with hands in his face. If you've listened to On the Block, you know this is something that Strick and I have talked about quite a bit, but I do think there are still some unexplored aspects of it. Strick's thing is just run more sets, get guys looks. I don't disagree with that. I think that is a good start. And to be fair, we did see more sets from Nebraska last night. We saw at least 1, if not 2 new actions for Connor Essegian. I don't remember how those possessions went, but saw a couple interesting looks there. They ran a few for Bryce Williams as well, but this is again where some of it is coaching and, do you have a go-to set or a couple of go-to sets, but not like middle school or high school basketball. You can't just draw up a shot and say, or a play and say, this shot is going to be wide open, right? Defenders are paid to play defense in college. They don't just want to let you get an open shot. So it's not as simple as draw up a play to get a guy wide open, right? Now, it does seem like other teams happen to do that against Nebraska, but I would put that more on Nebraska's defensive shortcomings because, to be fair, it is hard to generate open shots like Nebraska is finding, but it's maybe not as hard as Nebraska makes it look, which is why with, I think it was about 2.5 minutes to go, 2.5 or 3 minutes to go, Bryce Williams had a walk-in three from the right wing right in front of Nebraska's bench that would have made it a one-possession game, or might even put Nebraska in front, and he missed it, right? He doesn't get that many open shots. He is a good shooter. I'm not saying that the game falls on Bryce Williams missing that one shot, but for a guy that has to work as hard to score the basketball as Bryce Williams does, despite making it look easy, despite being a smooth, calm, cool, collected operator, Bryce Williams has to work a lot harder for his shots more consistently than Peyton Sandfort does, than Kasparas Jakushonis does. And those guys have maybe a little bit more skill on the ball than Bryce Williams does. Again, Bryce is silky smooth. He's got a good handle. He's got good burst, but not elite, right? That's maybe the other part of why Nebraska doesn't get some early offense, especially going downhill toward the rim. Bryce's step backs don't create as much room as some other guards in the conference. And he's not really a true guard. He's more of a wing than a guard, I think. I think that Bryce Williams is a darn good basketball player, right? So nothing I say is meant as an indictment of Bryce Williams or the player that I think he is. But when you look at the rest of the roster, I think Bryce is being asked to do a little bit too much. I really do. Again, that's where the departure of Rink Mast hurts. That's where the departure of Keisei Tominaga hurts. Bryce Williams is a good number one option in the Big Ten, but you see down the stretch the difference between a Bryce Williams and a Dylan Harper, who's probably going number 2 in the NBA draft. You just see the difference between those two guys. Bryce Williams would be an elite number 2 for Nebraska. An elite number 2. And maybe, let's say he's playing with Rink Mast and it's Bryce and Rink. Bryce is still probably the number 1 option, taking the most shots on the team, but he's not the X factor. He's not the identity of the team. If Rink Mast was playing, Rink Mast, his ability from the 5 would give Bryce Williams easier opportunities, simpler opportunities, not put as much on Bryce's shoulders consistently. Raleigh Wooster, brought in as that quote-unquote true point guard that Husker fans were asking for a lot last year to run the show, is good, but again, not elite burst, more of a savvy type of point guard, more in the Sam Griesel mold of better at backing you down, takes advantages off of skip passes and defenses in rotation. But if you have him one-on-one, he's not going to blow by a lot of guys and finish at the rim. That's just not his skill set or his ability. I think Raleigh Wooster is a better, more consistent, more solid player than Jamarcus Lawrence, but Nebraska misses Jamarcus Lawrence's burst, quickness, ability to separate and create one-on-one right now. So even if in a vacuum, I like more of what Raleigh does on a more consistent basis, Jamarcus Lawrence might have been a better fit for this team. 62-79. Problem with this team is their superstar takes half the game off. He's not mentally strong enough to be the man. I won't say that about Bryce Williams. I'm not going to say that he's not mentally strong. I just don't know, again, if Bryce is wired to be a 1. That's not saying he's mentally weak. It's not saying he's soft, because I think we've seen enough from Bryce Williams right now to know that he's not soft. But sometimes that light bulb doesn't click on till later for how to dominate a game, for how to take over a game. Because, again, I think with Bryce Williams, there's a lot being put on his plate. Bryce as the number 1 is not just responsible for creating his own shot and scoring. Bryce Williams is still being asked to handle the ball, to run some point, even with Raleigh Wooster on the floor. Last night, he was given the hardest or the second hardest defensive responsibility of the game in guarding Dylan Harper a lot of times. And that's not an excuse for Bryce Williams to he doesn't take the night off. He doesn't just coast, because I think Bryce is a great teammate. I think Bryce is a fantastic player to have on your team, because when it's not his night or someone else is hot, he's okay to feed the hot hand. He's okay to set someone else up. He's okay to be a decoy. But sometimes Nebraska needs him to take over late in the game. And it would help if he was a little bigger, a little stronger, a little faster. He can create some shots, but again, just not at the same level as Dylan Harper. And that's just the comparison for last night. He doesn't create at that same level. Nebraska doesn't have the same sets or get him as open, because up and down the roster, there's not the same level of playmaking or shot-making talent available to him. Bryce is calm, cool, collected, smooth operator, cool as a cucumber kind of guy. I wonder if he would be more able to take over a game if he had less on his plate. And again, that's not a knock on him as a bad player or a worse player. It's more of a knock on the roster and the situation. And even more than that, even more than any questions about Bryce Williams or the roster, to me, it really just needs to frame the conversation about how we talk about this team, right? I still think Nebraska is a good team. It's a pretty good team. It's not a really good team. It's not an elite team. I just want us to be careful about how we're talking about this team right now. On a 3-game losing streak, 62-79 described Bryce Williams as Nebraska's superstar. Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. Bryce Williams is not a superstar. Bryce Williams is a darn good college basketball player. But you know what superstars do? Superstars take over in some of these moments. For whatever reason, Bryce hasn't done it consistently. Can, but didn't last night. Didn't against Michigan State when Nebraska needed a bucket. Made some big plays at the end against Iowa, hit the three that sent the game to overtime, hit a 3 to cut it to 1 last night as well. But superstars don't let it get to that point. The superstars lift the rest of their team up with them. I'm not saying Bryce doesn't, but just on a more consistent basis, right? Bryce Williams is an all Big Ten caliber player, but he's not a first team all Big Ten player. If you're classifying Bryce Williams as a lead guard, the guy that does the bulk of the playmaking and or the scoring, you take Braden Smith, I think, for what he's doing with Purdue. You take Kasper Giacchionis, you take Dylan Harper, you take Ace Baldwin, I think, for guys that are primary on-ball creators in that role before you take Bryce Williams, which, again, is not an indictment of Bryce and his skill set. It's more on the roster in the fit, and Nebraska is still trying to figure out what these guys' skill sets are. I think Bryce is playing a little out of position. I think they're asking a lot of him, and if he's not able to do what Nebraska needs him to do, that's fine because he's still a good basketball player. It just limits the ceiling and what I think we should, be able to expect from this team. They're still in the NCAA tournament picture as of today, according to every major bracketologist. Some of them have them as a 10, some of them as an 11, some of them in the last 4 in the play-in game in Dayton. Any postseason, to me, is still a step forward for the program. Only twice since 2000 has Nebraska qualified for back-to-back postseasons. No, it doesn't look right now like this team is going to win an NCAA tournament game. But I'm not going to write them off. The difference, though, is that where Illinois or maybe Purdue, potentially Oregon, look a little bit more matchup proof, Nebraska is going to need the right matchup if it finds its way into the NCAA tournament, right? Nebraska is going to need a specific style of team for fans to feel good or better about the team's chances to get off the schneid in the NCAA tournament. But first things first, Nebraska's got to find some answers in the regular season. I'm not hitting the panic button. I don't think you guys should hit the panic button if you're listening about this team. It is a disappointing streak for the Huskers right now. They've lost 3 in a row for the first time since they lost 4 in a row in the late middle part of that 22-23 season. The last 2 or 3 times Nebraska had lost 2 conference games in a row, they came home with a chance to end that streak, and they did it. They didn't last night. They'd won 20 home games in a row dating back to February 28th of 2023. That's a long streak. And again, I'm not going to fault you for saying, you know what, Nebraska got out-talented at the end. It's a bummer, but maybe this team isn't what we thought. They can keep getting better. But I'm not going to fault you for saying that game was there for the taking for Nebraska with missed free throws and bad defensive rotations. It was all there, and Nebraska could have and maybe should have won that game. You're not wrong for thinking either way. But just to kind of summarize my thoughts on this, Nebraska is pretty good. Nebraska is not elite. Too many guys are being asked to play up a tier from what they maybe should be on what would be an elite team. I think this is a good coaching job to get this team to a 12-5 record at this point in the year because of the weird roster fits and everything that you're asking of these players. I would be curious to know exactly what is going on behind closed doors, what buttons are being pressed, and which buttons are being covered up to not press. I have all the respect in the world for Coach Hoiberg. I really do. You heard it from Isaac Trotter as well. I'm not alone in this. I just wonder, moving forward, what roster construction will look like. And Nebraska's not going to punt on this season. Don't get me wrong. There's still plenty for this team to play for. They're not going to, lose out the rest of January. They're still in really good position for a postseason berth. And keeping that in mind is important. But for so many fans, and I honestly talked myself into this too, I thought Nebraska was ready to take a bigger step forward than it has to this point. It's a bummer that it hasn't happened. I'm not writing it off. I don't feel confident about it. So the big picture conversations and the immediate term conversations work together, but I think are different conversations to have. In the here and now, Nebraska's got to find answers. Are they on the roster? We'll see. If they are on the roster, they're going to be unlocked by coaching, and Nebraska needs to unlock them sooner than later if it wants to qualify for the NCAA tournament especially. We'll go to break, short segment to wrap up Hour 1 of Old School. Jay Foreman in the building after that.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Aloe Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela, they let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit aloefiber.com to switch today.
The Body Lab, located at 14th and Yankee Hill, is Lincoln's premier physical therapy and recovery lab. The Body Lab offers trigger point dry needling, cupping therapy, joint manipulation, and so much more. Looking to relax and relieve stress after a long day or difficult workout? The Body Lab's recovery lab is the ideal spot. Featuring infrared sauna, a cold plunge tub, or if you're just looking for enough space to stretch out and reset your mind. Learn more about memberships and schedule your service today at thebodylablnk.com. Or visit the Body Lab in person at 14th and Yankee Hill Road.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
You're working out, eating right, living a healthy lifestyle, but your energy sucks. This could be a sign of low testosterone. Where do you turn for help? The answer is Limitless Male, the #1 testosterone clinic for men in the Midwest. Start by scheduling your free consult at one of our 13 clinics. If low T is the diagnosis, a custom treatment plan will get your energy back on track. What are you waiting for? Schedule your free consult at limitlessmale.com.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197. Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solution offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions, 2040 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code early for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Husker fans, this season, Nebraska is celebrating 50 years of Husker women's basketball, and they need you to help celebrate. You've shown up for women's hoops from the start and continue to prove that Nebraska fans really are the best in the nation. On Sunday, January 26th, the Huskers face Big Ten opponent Ohio State, and they're calling on all Husker fans to help pack PBA so they can celebrate 50 years of Husker women's hoops together. Get your tickets now and be a part of this historic season. For event and ticket information, go to huskers.com/tickets.
Back to Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back one final time for Old School in hour one of the show. Jay Foreman on his way in. Austin Oerman holding things down. Also holding things down for you, for UFC fights, for football games, basketball games, the like. The Upside Bar and Lounge in South Lincoln. Here with us, as always, we've got Hannah from the Upside. Hannah, welcome in.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm well. Thank you. And yourself?
I'm doing well.
Good.
I feel like I'm slightly less nervous for this than you are. You're alone.
I am
You're
alone.
a big girl. You're out on your own here.
My partner in crime is gone. She's left me.
Why did she ditch you?
Florida. I mean, do you blame
Come
her?
on.
No, I don't. So
I do. This is Lincoln, Nebraska.
Florida's a little bit warmer right
Florida's
now.
Florida. Whatever.
Yeah, she's going to be on the water. She left today.
Boo.
So, yeah, she'll be gone for the weekend. But
Dang. Big weekend in sports,
It
NFL
is.
divisional weekend. And you guys have Sunday tickets, so you can watch the games there, right?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Excellent. Remind people what time you open, where you're located, all that good stuff.
So Monday through Thursday, we open at 3 and we close at 2 a.m. Friday, Saturday, we open at 1 and we close at 2. And Sunday, depending on the time of the earliest game, generally speaking, during football, we open at 11 and we close at 2. So
There you go. And of course, you guys are in because your partnership with UFC. You have all the fights on there as well. UFC 311 is this weekend. Take people through your normal deal for the UFC fights.
So we always have the UFCs and we don't do any specials, but there is no cover, which is really great. We've got, I think, about 9 TVs. So anywhere you sit in the bar, you always have a good view. We do suggest coming in a little bit earlier. I know the prelims start at 7. The main card, I think, is like scheduled for 9. Granted, it's never really at that time. But yes, we do suggest coming in a little bit earlier just to ensure that you do get a good spot to sit. If it fills up, that we've had times where it's been like standing room. So that's always a lot of fun. But yeah, we'll keep our kitchen open late for the fights, through the end of them. So you have stuff to snack on throughout the whole night. All the bartenders will make sure to keep your drinks full. It's a good time.
It is. I say the bar is open the whole time, and that is your specialty.
Absolutely.
I see some drinks. I'm curious.
Yeah.
What do you have? And I'm alone for this one too. So sorry, not sorry, Jay. This is all me.
I gave him a little heads up. These might do you in, but
Which one am I starting with?
We'll start with this old fashioned. It's
Okay.
the Layover in Tokyo. It's one of my good friends' favorite one. He tells me he dreams about it. So I made sure to bring this one in for you. It's a little bit
Layover in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Tokyo?
I have not.
Do you want to go to Tokyo?
I'm always down to try go adventure and see all the new places, but definitely hasn't been on the top of my list before.
That's good. What is this Layover in Tokyo?
Good. It's a Japanese whiskey. And then it's got your simple syrup and plum flavored bitters. That really is the star of the show in that drink, I think. It's very
That's
simple.
what it is. Yeah.
It's
okay.
super simple. It's very light and refreshing for an old fashioned. But yeah, it's so good, isn't it?
That is. Yeah, I was trying to place the plum. I would not have come up with that I also didn't know the Japanese made whiskey.
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Fascinating.
We've got Japanese whiskey, gin, and vodka. So, yeah.
Go Japan.
I know, right?
Creative.
And the upside's got it. So,
Heck yeah. Okay, and then do I get to try the other one as well?
yeah, I think you should. This one's my personal favorite.
Ooh.
If somebody comes in and they don't really know what to order, this is always one of the things that I will suggest or I will make. We call it the Live Old Fashioned, in honor of a young lady who left us too soon. But it's got black walnut bitters as well as orange bitters, and a Jameson Black Barrel whiskey.
That's almost smoother than the other one somehow.
Right? It's not as
How do you do
sweet
that?
and like light, but it's still so good, right?
That's impressive.
Right?
Dang.
For being mostly liquor, you can't really taste
That's
it all that
smooth.
much, I feel like.
Some of the other the first 4 or 5 old fashions I ever had, super strong.
Sometimes they're so harsh. I
Yeah.
always like to add a little bit extra simple in it to sweeten it up a little bit. That's that's just me. But sometimes the old fashions are super harsh and that's not my style.
Please keep adding some extra simple
Okay.
sugars.
You
That
got
is
it.
absolutely the move. Also, absolutely the move is getting yourself down to the Upside Bar and Lounge. Crowbait on our text line says, I quit drinking for the year. Hannah, stop it. You're making me regret it.
Oh, no. I mean, it's too early. It's only January, but I do respect it. Props to you. I'm here and I support you. But whenever you do decide to take a break, we've always got these drinks year round for sure.
Or you can stay on your drinking break and still go get the food at Upside and watch the football at
Absolutely.
Upside, right? You're not just the alcohol, even if it is a perk.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we've got the food. We've got multiple NAs actually. We just got a bunch of new ones in. And yeah, it's just a really good environment. There's always good music. Our bartenders are always having a good time. And
Any good karaoke stories from recently?
oh my gosh, karaoke has gotten crazy at the bar lately, which is awesome because we used to only do it once, one Friday a month, but we've been doing it, I feel like 2 or 3 Fridays every month, just because people are requesting it so much. And honestly, it's like a really good sized crowd. It's not too much, but all those people, we have a lot of performers.
Okay.
They'll like come in and they're just like goofy guys and they'll pick really great songs that you would never think to do karaoke, and they'll walk around and they put on a show, and it's just fun to watch. And honestly, a large majority of our singers are really, really talented singers too. So it's not like the really cringy and hard to watch and listen. So no, it's actually a really good time. And as a bartender working those nights, I feel like if I'm having a good time and I'm enjoying the music, that really says something.
So we should expect to see the Upside on The Voice or America's Got Talent sometime soon. Is kind of what you're saying.
Yes, we're like the recruit, the step before you get to The Voice.
That's awesome. If that is your dream, the Upside Bar and Lounge, that is Friday night karaoke, you said?
Yes, we got it tonight. So go on out tonight. Yeah, we got a big weekend. It'll be lots of fun.
There you go. Lots going on. Karaoke tonight. You got UFC, you got football all weekend. Hannah, as always, great to see you. Thanks for the drinks. Enjoy the crowds, enjoy the parties, enjoy the weekend.
Yes, I will. Hopefully I'll see some people out there.
We are sending them out to 29th and Pine Lake to the Upside right now. We'll go to break. Jay Foreman in the house for the second hour of Old School when we get back.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Salt Mine City is now open at 8th and R in the Haymarket. Come check out Lincoln's newest brewery with 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager, Brick Street Amber Wheat, and so many more. There's daily drink specials like $1 off Moscow Mules on Tuesdays, $6 IPAs on Fridays, and $6 Bloody Marys on Saturdays. Stop by Tuesday through Thursday from 4 to 9 p.m., Fridays 4 to 11 p.m., Saturdays 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sundays from noon to 8 p.m. It's Salt Mine City, Lincoln's newest brewery at 8th and R.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100 and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solution offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions, 2040 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between, we'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
If you're sick of catering from the same places every month, it's time to switch things up. Mulberry Barbecue is perfect for business lunches and dinners, family gatherings, holiday parties, wedding receptions, rehearsal dinners, and so much more. Delivery and full service options are available, and they can cater for anything from 10 people to 500 people. Call them at 402-937-7114 to hear their menu options and get your catering booked today. Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most, for all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
You're working out, eating right, living a healthy lifestyle, but your energy sucks. This could be a sign of low testosterone. Where do you turn for help? The answer is Limitless Male, the #1 testosterone clinic for men in the Midwest. Start by scheduling your free consult at one of our 13 clinics. If low T is the diagnosis, a custom treatment plan will get your energy back on track. What are you waiting for? Schedule your free consult at limitlessmale.com.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Don't adjust your screens. What up? Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman, the old school crew is back for this last 5 o'clock hour. We are brought to you by the Mercado. Certified Piedmontese, Special Greens to Butcher Shop, 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, 85th and Andremat, and 168th and Maple up there in the O. I will tell you this, Austin. The one on 85th and Andremat, I didn't even realize that was right by my house.
That's your neck of the woods.
Yeah. I'm going to go, that saves me a trip.
Look at that.
What a bargain.
Just wheel the grill down there, cook outside.
Hey, if it wasn't so windy, it'd be on and popping, man. I mean, it's the wind to blow the fire out, man. So, anyways, glad I could make it back. Had to take care of some medical stuff, but anyways, a lot going on, Austin. Obviously, I'm sure the text line and everybody's mood after last night at the bank last night, losing to Rutgers, a game Rutgers team. The 2 5-star recruits were everything they advertised and then some. Nebraska played decently well. Probably haven't got their edge all the way back, but I feel like, from my perspective, I can just talk about competitiveness. And then, I always say college sports now is professional, like pros. And I think the NFL is more entertainment, right? You see a big production. If you talk to Stricky, it's conspiracy theories. You know how they came out and they already kind of tell who's going to the Super Bowl and stuff, and that's fine. But I do think it's more entertainment. It is, professional. I only could talk about it from my experience. I think it was my third year in the league. Yeah, because we made the playoffs the first 2 times. Had the Music City Miracle, came back, and we had a lot of guys coming back, but there still was the hangover. But then we went through a lull. And actually, in every season, we went through a lull where I always feel like when you lose a game in the NFL, it's like a funeral. I mean, you're walking like, it is because you only got 16 of them, and one. And if you, and the biggest thing is you don't want to let 1 lead to 2, 2 lead to 3, because then you start to look around and the offense isn't playing good, the defense isn't playing good, or whatever it may be, or we're going to blame the coaches, And that happens sometimes. We had a little bit of that in the football, not by the team over there, but just like the people, the outside noise. And so, Nebraska's going through a little bit of a lull. There's 2 big factors. Number one, I'm sure Fred and Coach Nate and all those coaches had talked about how important situational basketball is, closing a game, whatever you want to call it, stepping on their necks, whatever it is. And that's in reference to the Iowa game. And then it's the little bit of, I always say, the discipline versus regret. The pain is still the same, but I think the regret lasts a little bit longer. Well, I think that boiled over into Purdue, on top of now you're starting to play some really, really good teams, and they have a little bit of your kryptonite. And the kryptonite for, I think, for a good, let's just call it Nebraska, a good swarming defense. They're very system, I guess, not system, but they do really well with their coverages, right? Well, the one thing that you can't that is the outlier against coverages are them dudes. Purdue got 2 of them, so does Rutgers. And we saw it last night. And here's
Iowa's don't look like it, but they have them too.
Hey, Josh Dix is going to be a problem when your third option. And he lit up USC too. He's slowly but surely he's going to be the guy you talk about at the forefront at the end of the season for Iowa Hawkeyes. So they got 3 dudes, and they don't necessarily have to be lottery picks like we saw last night. Purdue's 2 probably aren't lottery picks. They're definitely NBA players, situational NBA players. And Iowa, I think Josh Dix probably has the most upside to go because he can get downhill and he can dunk and all that. The other 2 are kind of, maybe,
below the rim,
but they'll have professional careers. That's probably the biggest thing, that, and then you're playing against really, really good coaches and teams as you get into the Big Ten. There's one thing I would tell you about the outliers, man. And I talk about this as a funny thing is, watching Randy Moss when he was, and I heard about Randy Moss when he went to Florida State, because I got family in Florida, and you just hear about him. Back then it was Blue Chip Magazine. It was just all this dude from the middle of nowhere, West Virginia, and obviously you hear about him on the basketball court and all that. And so then, he lights it up in Minnesota, he just takes the league by storm. And then obviously I liked his story because I felt like it was misrepresented. Then he got to Marshall, then took off. I used to get home after we'd win, look for highlights, right? So, my off-season house, or from Minnesota, I didn't have a house. It was like a little, like a condo or apartment, but that's where I'd train in the off-season. I'd go back and, and then so to stay in shape, we used to get some open runs in, play basketball. That's where, some guys that were recently retired in the NBA, and then obviously NFL players would play in the off-season. Well, Randy Moss.
Any twins?
Kirby Puckett used to play. Dan Gladden could hoop. He definitely was below the rim. He definitely he was physical all get out, and that's where I punched on your boy Kevin Lynch.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
He got that work. Yeah. And so Randy Moss came in there. KG came one time. But first of all, KG's like entourage came, then KG came. Well, then you saw you got to know Randy Moss, right? Dante Culpepper. Jimmy Kleinsaucer, big shout out to him. He just got voted into the College Football Hall of Fame from North Dakota. And so I knew about Randy Moss. So we played him that following year in Buffalo, and we had cover 2 Moss. It was situational football.
Everyone look at Randy.
Our coverage was look. They had Chris Carter. They had Robert Smith back there, Dante Culpepper, in the biggest offensive line in the league. But we had cover 2 for Randy Moss when he was in the slot, and it was right before halftime.
Randy Moss slot receiver is a terrifying thought. Now that I have to tell you. Sorry, continue.
Who do you think was potentially going to be the middle runner? Yours truly, right? So emphasis on get a jam on him and all that. We ran it right before halftime. Hey, the coverage was great. Everybody was in the same spot, but there's one outlier, Randy Moss. Literally caught it. I don't know what size shoe you were. Literally right on the, before he went out of bounds. Touchdown and just ran in the locker room. The Viking horn, they're shooting off the horn or whatever it is. The people going crazy. That's what the difference was last night with Harper and Bailey. You saw some shots that like, dang, he shouldn't be pulling up with the 16 when Burke was in his face. Hey, take that out the net. Pull up jumper, hezzy, step back, take that with you. Sometimes those guys are heating up. Now, there's probably situational stuff that Fred and them would like to execute better. Sure, they could probably need to be a little bit more physical and play with what I think Fred calls with more force. But then also you have to pay respects. And this is not making any excuses, right? Nebraska should have won the Iowa game, and I think they should have won that game last night. But sometimes when guys get on heaters, and that's why it's so important to do the little things that you have been doing at years past and at times this year, as you're starting to figure out your team. The one thing that you have to do is not get away from your base fundamentals, and maybe that's a little bit, a little bit of what the problem is. But then also you're playing against the better competition, and you're going on a heater now you're seeing some guys that you're going to see on whatever TNT Tuesday nights, and definitely going to be in that lottery.
And I think that is all completely true. And I think Rutgers' role guys were better. Martini hit 3 threes.
Yes.
That came a pretty big
And he
time.
hadn't been hitting.
Dylan Grant was 7 of 8. It hit a 3 as well, right? Barricade Boykinjel was a non-factor in this one. Esijan had a couple open looks that didn't go down. Hit a couple big ones, but didn't hit all of them.
Yeah.
Like you said, like with the Illinois, right? The football game, right? There were 6 plays that Illinois capitalized on. Pretty much the same thing for Nebraska. Bryce didn't have a lot of easy looks, has a walk-in 3 that he doesn't hit, right? That's when he can make it a 55-60% clip. Problem was it was the 40-45% on that miss at a bad time. It was a bad day rebounding for Nebraska. They did a great job on the offensive glass. Problem is you gave up almost as many as you got, and that led to a lot of second chance points. It's frustrating. It's disappointing to see a veteran team fall short at home, right? It's supposed to be hard to win on the road in the Big Ten. I can say, having been in the arena for that game, both Rutgers earned that win. They played their butts off. They made pretty much all the key plays in that game, especially in the last 4 minutes. And it shouldn't have come down to that. Nebraska left plenty of meat on the bone in the previous 36 minutes with that. Bryce missed 3, not going 2 for 1 at the end of the first half, leading to the Bailey 3 May or may not have been a travel, right? Might have been a travel at the end too, near half court when Nebraska's trying to get a trap. It's a foul call instead. But it's those 2 or 3 possessions that we just mentioned, 2 or 3 other possessions throughout the course of the game. Rutgers won those bigger moments. They showed the poise on the road. They never let Nebraska go on a huge run. Nebraska got up 9, but that was 15-6.
Yeah.
If Nebraska goes up 9 with 6 or 7 minutes to go, that's one thing. But getting up 9, 6 or 7 minutes into the game when the 2 best players in the gym are on the other side, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit of both, and it sucks because you had the chance to kind of get back, and Rutgers maybe had a little bit of recent, I guess, good mojo, and then also when you can get off schedule plays with Dylan Harper, and where he kind of slithers to the hoop, and it looks like, okay, he can't get the shot up, and then he makes it almost every time.
He was so good at snaking those pick and rolls.
Right.
Oh
And it's the timing, the efficiency. It's obviously he's been doing it, and is obviously been coached by his dad. And then obviously with Ace Bailey, not only being active on offensively, and then also the adjustments that they made to Nebraska's coverage, where when Ace Bailey was driving and kicking it, and then they hit those couple threes. I think Grant hit one for sure. That was a big one to kind of get them back. I think either got them a 1-point lead or got them within one, the deficit. Then they started to hit it more often, and then they started to get into drive and kick, and then they got to the lane. And then also on top of it, Ace Bailey was really, really active on the off the ball defense. Like when I think he had the big block against Bryce, and being 6'10", 6'11" with that type of athletic ability and length, and explosiveness, becomes an issue. So
that's something that a lot of people were talking about, and Strick and I gave our answer, so I'd love your answer as well. There was some frustration that Nebraska didn't change the defensive game plan when Rutgers got hot, especially because it's happened the last 2 games as well, against Purdue and at Iowa. And Jay, I can see it both ways. On the one hand, sticking to that identity, you're still in year 3 of Fred Hoiberg 2.0. I can understand trying to build that culture, just be better at it. It's what we do. It's worked for Nebraska so far. I can understand why Nebraska would stick with it and just try to encourage its guys to be better within the scheme. I can understand that argument, but the other side is it's not working now. What is Nebraska's changeup? Do they need a changeup, right? Maybe you're a base cover 2 team, but you throw a cover 1 look in from time to time. Do you throw a cover 3 look in from time to time? Nebraska died how it's been living, which is fine because they're still building the program, I think, in Fred 2.0 in the big picture. But in the short term, in the game to game, I think Nebraska's got to be a little more exotic, a little more creative on defense when teams get on a heater, just for a couple possessions at a time, just to try to switch it up.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I deal with this sometimes. I'm coaching AAU basketball. Look, by no means do I fashion myself.
Hey, your boys are balling in Lincoln Preps though. So
yeah, but I get questioned all the time. Trust me. It drove back from one of those tournaments. Why'd you stay in the zone? Right. Well, we were up by 15 in the zone, but we didn't execute down the stretch.
Yeah.
So you have to also, this is where don't make decisions in the moment. Then also, more than everybody else because you're in there every single day.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with the football team, probably when things get questioned. As soon as you don't score points, it's like if you have a bad day on offense, get the coordinator out of there, get a quarterback out of there,
run the ball more,
whatever you didn't do well, you got to do the opposite. And that's the magic trick. Well, they'll stop that as well. Somewhere in between, people forget execution, which is the most important thing.
Right.
So there's probably a little bit of that, because I can guarantee you, because at times, just from the naked eye, and like Grant, I'm only going to just say my assumption because I do not know. Obviously, I don't cover the team or anything like that. There looked a little bit of confusion, a little bit slow on their switches, and then obviously running guys off the 3-point line or running off the positions. So that's where you actually, as a coach, and I've been part of this also from a football standpoint. We used to run this coverage called cover 8. Now when we had a red zone tag. Now it was a little bit on Vic Fangio, but our execution, once we got beat a couple times in our go-to cover 8, because in the field we were playing at like an 85% clip against the run and pass. Once we got in the red zone, things started to move a little bit faster. There was miscommunication from the second and third level, which then affected the first level, which is the defensive line. how they needed to play. Obviously, in the red zone, you can't be as aggressive. You got to stay in your gaps and make things a little bit clear because things are so much quicker. Then we started to question the coverage when actually we need to look ourselves in the mirror and say, you know what, we need to execute this coverage. Now, after the bye week, we started to, instead of giving up essentially the candy at the door, we started to have a little bit more resistance, and it started to become, a little bit whole. That's what they're facing. But then also at the same token, you are right, throwing a little bit of a curveball there and maybe keeping guys engaged. Because sometimes you can think and you can rely on, and this is also where there's some maybe, in my opinion, obviously I was not there, like in PBA you were, and maybe you could tell me better. You mentioned the Illinois game during the football season, where I think sometimes you can depend on the crowd too much, right? And thought because the Colorado game, the crowd was a huge factor. It was like the 12th man on offense, defense, and special teams. Well, Illinois, you come out there depending on the crowd, and it's great with Will Compton and all that stuff. But the difference is the play in Colorado excited the crowd.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of choppy against Illinois. And that's what I thought I saw against Rutgers. And then you heard about the 20-game win streak, PBA and the advantage. Sometimes subconsciously you could be like, that's 6 points for us.
We're going to win because that's just what we do. Not what does it take to win.
And the crowd.
Yeah.
Right. Versus, what we do, and you should play better at home, will make the crowd be on their feet, make the crowd be that extra defender, make the crowd, have them, miss a free throw or, a little bit late on a skip pass, lose like consciousness of the shot clock, whatever it may be. That's what you have to do, but you control that. It's kind of, and there is some correlation, but I will tell you this as before we go to break, I think they go to Maryland and win. Now, I think Maryland, if you ask me, is a better team. And it's crazy because we're saying it's like, Jay, no way, right? They have 5 guys in double figures. I'm just looking here over the notes, but I think that Maryland's number 1 player is their big man, Derek Queen. I think that we have enough bodies to slow him down. Now, the next thing that we have to do is stop Angel Reese's brother, Julian Reese. If we contain those two, it allows us to kind of flare out on the guards, and then allows Bryce and those guys actually can get a lot of secondary breaks against these guys, because those 2 big guys, I feel like our wings and our guards are faster than them, and then we can potentially really stymie them at home. It's a tough place to play. It's not a very, even though I love Maryland, right? I love DMV, but for whatever reason, traveling out there is not fun. It's always crappy. When the football team plays out there, it's crappy. Like, it's just not, getting through DC and getting through where to get to the campus isn't fun.
Yeah.
But then, we'll see what the Huskers do. But I do think they pull off a victory. It will be tough. I think they are more.
It's a better matchup.
It's a better matchup, which is great for Nebraska. I think playing Rutgers close, like last night, and then playing again, you kind of are like sharpened to really big, fast, strong, superior athletes that are going to be playing at the next level versus if you played, I don't know, somebody in the non-con or Oregon State, then you come and play Michigan State or somebody like that. I feel like they'll be a little bit more battle tested and ready for that type of speed and knowing they have to finish.
I'm glad you brought this game up. Strick and I didn't get to it. It's a fascinating matchup because of the bigs, because Jacoby Gillespie has been really flipping good for Maryland so far as well. Nebraska all time at Xfinity Center, Jay, since joining the Big Ten, is only 1-7.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like it's an overwhelming environment for Nebraska. They went out there with those teams.
Remember the 2 games that they had to win?
Back to back.
And had
the COVID year.
Right, but had the 12 to 16 point lead and was like, oh, game's over.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you just got blitzed.
Right. But Nebraska has played better Maryland teams than this, closer when Nebraska's been worse. The Mellow Trimble teams, the Diamond Stones, Justin Jackson, those guys.
What's the big center that had the goggles?
Sticks.
Yeah,
Jalen Smith.
Yeah, he's still up in the NBA.
He is.
Yeah.
Nebraska has actually played some decent basketball on the road at Maryland with some worse teams than Nebraska is going to be bringing out there now. Bit of a clash of styles. And here's the other part, Jay. Maryland is coming in pissed. They lost on a buzzer beater on the road at Northwestern.
They'll be all right.
So thanks for nothing, Northwestern. But I do like what you're saying, because it's not a must win for Nebraska right now. You need to change the vibes. Absolutely. It would be super nice.
What is it? This is a must play. We have to play good. we have to finish.
Yeah.
We have to battle.
Mhm.
We have that's got to be the message. And it's great, sure, we need probably make adjustments in coverages and maybe some adjustments in offensive. I don't want to say plays, but just more of the schemes in the getting into the, I call it offensive action, right?
Yeah.
And so maybe more, maybe when he's sieging, get him some more open threes, set threes, where those are the ones where you walk in. So maybe when he's running down the court, you almost can kind of zigzag him so he can lose the guy, because they were on him right from the beginning. But then he started to shake loose, and then he started to get a shot off and hit, those 4 threes. But I think more importantly than anything, this is a game where I think, and granted, I'm not the coach, but I'm just going from football, my experience from football, long time ago. When you go through these lulls, now you go through these lulls in many ways. You can go through it as a team, where you're up by 2 scores and somehow you lose it, by a walk-off field goal. I've seen that. I've seen it to where we've won, but we didn't feel like we finished, but we still won. Also, I've seen that where we had a team that probably, this happened all the time in Houston, where we were winning the game, but then we kind of started watching the scoreboard, and then we didn't, we ended up losing that game.
Yeah.
Whether it's by too many points or very, very close. But then also, I think there's times when you go through lulls, you have to really, obviously, recognize what you need to do better. But then also say, listen, what's the common thing? And take the Purdue game out of it. You could almost lie to yourself at times right now and say, look, Purdue was just hot. They were playing at home. All right, it's a crappy place to play, 11 o'clock. Okay, that's fine. But let's look at Iowa and let's look at Rutgers. And the main theme should be, we have to finish. And it should be just like, you could do like FF, force and finish.
Yeah.
We got to play both, because we got to play with more force, which is kind of fit with the physical mentality, not cheap and dumb, but bring it to them. And then we got to finish. And then, let's see where it's at. Because if you do those 2 things and say you go against a Queen or something like that that's really hitting, or Gillespie or something, or a Reese or something that just has a game of their life, not that you could say, you could just get on the plane and come home and just like, oh, that's no big deal. But then you also you can get more out of it, because you've done it. You kind of reached that kind of internal goal that's actually going to help you down the road. And then once you do that more times than not, then the W's will start coming.
I just got 2 quick things. First of all, is kind of like football, Nebraska basketball needs to earn its next win, not luck into it, right?
Right.
Nebraska was about to let Boston College slip, and then what did they do? They earned the win. Wasn't pretty, but they finished out that 4-minute drive.
Nobody cares now.
Nobody cares, right? Guess what? They did it. All you can look back on is, hey, look, we finished. We did that ourselves. We didn't end the game on a stupid penalty from Boston College, or them, letting Nebraska run 75 yards down the field for no good reason. Nebraska earned it. I busted your trivia earlier this week. I want to give you a chance to bust my trivia here, Jay. Because fair is fair.
All right.
What is the Big Ten road arena Nebraska men's basketball has won the most games in?
Oh, Big Ten arena.
The only arena Nebraska has won in 4 times since joining the Big Ten.
That's hard. Well, that's got to be like 10 miles, right? Is it Minnesota?
It is not Minnesota.
Who is it?
Assembly Hall, Indiana.
Yeah.
Nebraska 4-5 at Assembly Hall.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. You got me.
I gave you a shot.
You didn't get me like Dixon, though. Anyways, Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman. Quick break. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through January 29th is $2 off bacon, $2 off summer sausage, and 20% off on crackers. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just the professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
The Body Lab, located at 14th and Yankee Hill, is Lincoln's premier physical therapy and recovery lab. The Body Lab offers trigger point dry needling, cupping therapy, joint manipulation, and so much more. Looking to relax and relieve stress after a long day or difficult workout? The Body Lab's recovery lab is the ideal spot. Featuring infrared sauna, a cold plunge tub, or if you're just looking for enough space to stretch out and reset your mind. Learn more about memberships and schedule your service today at thebodylablnk.com or visit the Body Lab in person at 14th and Yankee Hill Road.
Since discovering Limitless Male, thousands of men have changed their lives. They've experienced more energy, sharper thinking, fat loss, muscle gain, and a boost in sex appeal. Men are loving life again, and it hasn't gone unnoticed. Wives, kids, even coworkers are seeing the difference. Limitless Male is a guy changer. We provide custom treatment plans to ensure both safety and maximum benefits. Don't settle for cookie-cutter solutions. Limitless Male is the powerhouse in men's health. Schedule your free consult.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Hey guys, this is Lexi Rodriguez, former Husker and now League One volleyball athlete. League One Volleyball is bringing the action to Omaha with our first serve on January 24th, 7 p.m. at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena in Ralston. Witness history in the making as we take on Love Madison in our first ever home match. Visit lovboma.com for tickets. First serve January 24th. Be there when it all begins. That's lovboma.com for tickets to watch Love Omaha Volleyball. Go Big Red and go Big Green.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall, Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
Back to Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, we're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman, segment 2, 5 o'clock hour. Covered the, men's basketball team. I do think they'll bounce back. But obviously this weekend it's NFL playoffs, Austin. And I'm calling my shot right now. Listen, I know all you Kansas City fans. I know it's Patrick Mahomes. I'm telling you, I'm just going to say this right now. Somehow, some way, my two teams are going to win. So if you don't know what my two teams are, it's Buffalo and Houston. They going to win. I just got it.
Red, white, and blue. God bless America, baby.
I think Houston's going to go there and turn up one time. Slew-footed slang. I just see something in him that he's going to put himself back live on stage. Something is going to go their way. Houston's going to win. and then Buffalo going to represent. Now it's going to be snowing in Buffalo.
Mhm.
It's going to be crazy. Now Buffalo's got to go do it. Now I do think with Milano coming back, he's a really good matchup against Derrick Henry. But I was not thinking Derrick Henry would make this big of a impact. I mean, I knew he was a great player.
Yeah.
But they're just a running team anyways. It's legit, dude. He's legit. Now Pittsburgh, I don't think is the Pittsburgh of old, but and I think so. So Houston plays tomorrow at Kansas City, right?
Yep.
3:30. Dub. Houston. Dub. Kansas City fans. They just be mad. Dub. And then tomorrow or then Sunday, 5:30. Dub. Buffalo. That's guaranteed. Now let's move over to
Can I just say?
What?
I didn't pick Houston to win, but they were my team to watch this weekend. That defense is legit. And here's a nugget, Jay. Mahomes has not thrown an interception in the divisional round in his career. Could he be due for backbreaker?
Yeah, he's gonna throw interceptions, and then we just gonna just keep him at bay. Now I don't know how we're gonna block Chris Jones or Colossus because we ain't blocked nobody all season. I like Laramie Tunsil against George Colossus or whatever his name is. But I don't know about Chris Jones. We gotta do something. We gotta go back to cut blocking, quick game or something.
Sacrifice the running back at the altar of Chris Jones every snap.
But you know who's gonna pay dividends though? Joe Mixon, who has hands down.
Is he back? He's available?
Did you see him last week? Joe
Mixon? That's right. That's last week.
He has hands down. You're thinking of Dave Montgomery. He has hands down the best end zone dances of anybody in the league. And he's a big dude, man.
Large human.
Yeah. So I think, but on the NFC side, I think the Lions will beat the Commanders. I think with them being able to not, interview for jobs with the coordinators and really, really lock in on the Commanders and being at home. I think Detroit is just a better team right now than Washington, but I think it's going to be a good game. I think the physicality and the run game is going to really lean on Detroit, and I think with Montgomery coming back, I mean, that's going to just add to it. And actually Detroit is getting healthier. I think getting Alex Azzoni back, the linebacker, I think he allows them to do so much more on defense from the coverage ability against Zach Ertz and a blitzing ability, or a switch with him and Campbell, and then they got a young other linebacker in Davis, and they rotate guys, which then frees up Branch, which then frees up everybody else. And I think they've just been playing really, really well. And if they get a lead and they know you're passing, Aaron Glenn can dial up some blitzes in it because he's starting to really, really get some gel with the mixed match group back there in the back, let's say back 4 or 5, based on the injuries.
Who's the best quarterback left in the NFC?
Quarterback?
Jared
Goff. Which is crazy because the Rams threw him away for Matthew Stafford. As hot as Stafford can play, he can go cold too.
In a hurry.
Real in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be, and when they play Philly, he's going to be cold because that defensive line of Philly, the depth and the draft picks are healthy. I know they lost Dean last week, but they got a ton of guys. I'm just telling you, I think the Rams, even though I think their defense is better than when they played earlier in the year,
they got nothing up the middle for that run game.
Right, but
I don't trust.
Right, I think the Phillies offensive line with the week being rested and getting healthier, I think it's going to be more of the same. I think Philly's more physical than them. I wouldn't say their only chances too. Stafford and Kupp and those guys come out hot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they get mixed in, obviously, the run game, right? So they keep the Phillies offense on the sidelines. And then Jalen Hurts continues to play just average.
A.J. Brown leaves his book at home instead of on the sideline.
Make Jalen Hurts beat you. Drop him back, throwing the ball.
Contain.
Yeah. Make him beat you. Yeah. Make him beat you. Make him fit some ball, tight, some tight windows. Make him do that. Then I think it actually really, really goes the Rams' way. But I think Philly defensively, run game wise, and then also playing at home. And then also I think for Jalen Hurts, I think last week after being off for 2 weeks, you're kind of feeling your way back into the game, the speed of the game, the timing with your receivers, and doing just enough to beat the Packers. And the Packers, really weren't ever a threat. I think it was a very, very conservative game plan or you want to protect the quarterback and so forth and so on. Now I think they're going to unleash him. I think you're going to see more quarterback runs, whether it's on schedule or off the schedule. So what I mean by that is the RPOs, which if they ever really get back to that, their first year, they're really going to be dangerous. But then also I think the ones where if you see the Rams, which has, pretty decent coverage guys, if they catch them in a cover one, or, with a, 2-man or something like that, where it really, really opens up the middle of the field, look for Jalen Hurts to, really impose his will early in the game, keep Matthew Stafford and that offense on the sidelines, and then you be able to turn around and hand it to Barkley. But the one thing about this run game is, if you go back to the Packers game, it felt like in the first 2.5 quarters, they had Saquon pretty much in check, and then they just started wearing them out. And then the 4-yard runs turned into 8, 9, 10, and then a big one, and his game set match. And then obviously when the Eagles got a chance to close them out, they did defensively.
And that's an Eagles team that I didn't think would be in this position this year. I was worried about all the drama going on there with A.J. Brown, but with Sirianni especially.
Yeah.
I didn't see them bouncing back and getting the 2 seed.
I
really did.
I thought, Sirianni was on the way out.
He was.
Now, here's also the caveat here. Here's a little sneaky tip. This right here. I think it's a foregone conclusion that Kellen Moore is the Cowboys head coach. Nobody said it yet. First of all, Jerry.
Can we just take a second and laugh at Jerry Jones firing Kellen Moore as offensive coordinator and now hiring him as head coach?
Mike McCarthy made him. And it probably was like, yeah, I'll let you go. I'll see you in a couple years. Because I bet you Jerry Jones didn't think he was ready to be a head coach. Now it's all sellable. Here he comes back. He's had a really good offense. He's at Philly. He's won a couple years. He got the experience, blah, blah, blah. Jerry Jones ain't hiring primetime for 2 reasons. One, primetime is more popular than him. The other one, figure it out on yourself. Straight up. So I think it's Kellen Moore. So the only thing that could really hurt Philly, right? And I don't know if it affects
the interview process.
Is the interview process, or knowing you have that, kind of like Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn, that last game last year with the Cowboys defense, knew he had the Washington job, and the defense and the preparation looked horrible. Looked very, very basic. So if you start to see stuff like that, that lets you Kellen Moore has 1 foot out the door.
And it still came down to Dak sliding more.
Exactly. But the way their defense had played all year versus then, it looks significantly different. So I think if that's the case, then that really, really bodes well for the Rams.
Is Philly talented enough to overcome a bad game plan? I mean, that's still a loaded roster.
It is probably for me. I could argue that's the best roster in the league.
Which I would not fight you on that.
I mean, it has enough veterans and has all that young talent that's been productive. They've hit it out of the park with draft picks. Have 2 really good coordinators, and obviously the head coach there as well. So yeah, I think it's the most talented roster. But it's the head coach seems to have got out of his own way, and has got his face off the TV. I think he fell in love with the whole mantra and the being the bravado or whatever you want to call it, being too quote unquote competitive because he grew up with 2 other brothers. Like, look, dude,
and he fed into the security guard thing.
Yeah, he fed into all of it. And I was like, I'm sitting there like, dude, I didn't grow up with 2 older siblings or other siblings in the house, but you ain't the only one. You ain't no more competitive. You're not you're not any more competitive than many of those guys in the stands. I think that overtook it, and I think him almost losing his job got him back to what was really, what made them successful a couple years ago. Also, let's not forget, for them to be able to continue the pass rush without Brandon Graham. Now, I got a text here. I got a couple texts here before we go to break. 0457 said, he said, Jay, I love you. He said, but Baltimore and KC are going to curb stomp your teams. Damn. I mean, can you just say they're going to beat them? He says, sorry, not sorry. He said, Josh Allen, LOL in the playoffs. Mahomes is unbeatable in the playoffs. Facts, no cap.
He said curb stomp.
That's cold-blooded.
He came for it. That's personal.
Yeah, but also I will say this. Josh Allen in the playoffs. Google Josh Allen against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. You will be pleasantly surprised who's outperformed who. And so I'm going to tell you this. Josh Allen ain't been the reason. What's that?
What is this, Jay?
Oh, no, you did. No, you did. Dang, everybody coming for me, man.
I'm not even a Chiefs fan.
Dang, that's this has been an epic kind of calling me and Strick out this week. You got another unknown texter 2366. He says Nixon sprained his ankle in practice yesterday. Well, that's gonna Nolan. Is it Nolan?
Nolan Smith.
Nolan Smith, or who's Nixon?
Did you mean Mixon or Nixon? Because those are two very different players.
Joe. Oh, he must be Joe Mixon.
That's not ideal for Houston.
No,
if that's true.
I gotta get on my phone. It don't matter.
Make your calls quick, Jay. Game's tomorrow.
No, but CJ's gonna do his thing, and Joe Mixon's gonna answer the bell. Period. So 0457,
baby.
We're gonna see what you're gonna say come Monday. All right, and then we got old dad 34. He says he just got on, but y'all make picks for the natty. If not, who you picking?
We have all day Monday to get to that.
Yeah, we do.
have all day, all show Monday.
Yeah,
We're good.
Yeah, we do.
We're chilling.
Yeah, we'll wait for it. I gotta think about that. Oh, actually, first of all, I ain't never picking Notre Dame. I don't care what Nick says. I don't care what Marcus Freeman been converted to or not. He ain't winning. Thomas and Lincoln says I may be on an island with this, but go Texans. That's my man Thomas. Can't stand the KC fans. We'll say that, and hope they get the throwing curse and can't make it to the playoffs next year. The one thing I think eventually it's going to be coming down to how many holding penalties they call, because Houston has a really good pass rush. If you can get Patrick Mahomes off his spot and get him moving just like any quarterback, you can definitely affect him. So I think my two teams are going to win. I'm not saying this with my heart or whatever. I do think there's a way for both of them to going to win. It's not easy. I look forward to going to Buffalo to watch them both play for AFC Championship, though.
Hey.
Anyways, we're going to take a quick break. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solution. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Landmark Implement, your John Deere dealer, invites you to their annual sprayer clinic at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney on February 5th and 6th. This hands-on event offers expert training on John Deere and Hagie sprayers, covering topics such as machine maintenance, spray tip selection, and exact apply technology. New this year, classes on autonomy preparation, see and spray, and variable rate operation. Don't miss this opportunity. February 5th and 6th in Kearney. Learn more at landmarkimp.com/events.
Attention all wing fans! Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today at 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall, Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
Husker fans, this season, Nebraska is celebrating 50 years of Husker women's basketball, and they need you to help celebrate. You've shown up for women's hoops from the start and continue to prove that Nebraska fans really are the best in the nation. On Sunday, January 26th, the Huskers face Big Ten opponent Ohio State, and they're calling on all Husker fans to help pack PBA so they can celebrate 50 years of Husker women's hoops together. Get your tickets now and be a part of this historic season. For event and ticket information, go to huskers.com/tickets.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Since discovering Limitless Mail, thousands of men have changed their lives. They've experienced more energy, sharper thinking, fat loss, muscle gain, and a boost in sex appeal. Men are loving life again, and it hasn't gone unnoticed. Wives, kids, even coworkers are seeing the difference. Limitless Mail is a guy changer. We provide custom treatment plans to ensure both safety and maximum benefits. Don't settle for cookie-cutter solutions. Limitless Mail is the powerhouse in men's health. Schedule your free consult.
Back to Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman. Quick segment here. Joe Mixon is questionable. It's never good to be questionable the day before the game or 2 days before the game. Questionable. Probable is what you want because that means they're generally going to play. Questionable is definitely 50-50 at most. That means
is that like day to day?
That means you questionable. It's really questionable. You ain't playing pretty much. But I think getting in there.
At least it's not doubtful.
Yeah, doubtful is you definitely are. It's just a matter of them holding out. There's a miracle. Questionable is more 50-50. I think it's a thing that he plays. They warm him up. I'm sure they did around the clock like treatment. He'll be fine. No, I won't. Yeah, I mean, I think it sucks that you get dinged up in practice and you're in the playoffs because they definitely aren't practicing that hard.
Right.
So you never know what happens. I think he'll be fine. And maybe, you throw it out there and say, man, our running back ain't going to play, and he's ready to go. So
that's a darn good running back.
Yeah. Thomas and Lincoln says, what holding calls the refs are in KC's pockets? I think it's going to really come down with the Chiefs is make them work for everything. You're playing against Patrick Mahomes. I mean, the one thing I think when you play against great players, and this is when we play Peyton or we play Tom Brady, and whether, I got to play against Dan Marino, Brett Favre, all these dudes, right? They're great players before you go play them, but you just got to make it hard on them. And you can beat them, but then you have to have it. You can't give them anything easy. You can't bust coverages. If you have a chance to get Patrick Mahomes on the ground, you got to get him on the ground. If you are able to make them check the ball down in a 3rd and like 6+, you can't let him get the running back or a receiver get to 4.5 yards when you could have tackled him at 2. You can't give them the leaky yardage because you always know Andy Reid and or Patrick Mahomes will go for it. And then that really, really bodes well for them. That extends the drive and it keeps the momentum not only on their sideline but in the stadium. So those are the things you need to do. It's a tall order just because they have championship pedigree and they have a championship coach, championship players, namely probably eventually going to be one of the best of all time, if not the best. Definitely the best in his era. In Patrick Mahomes, and you're playing him at home, and he's rested. His mind is clear because he just had another baby, so he doesn't have to worry about that.
Can we talk for a second about that? First kid was Sterling, then he went to bronze, now golden.
Yeah, obviously he ain't picking the names, right? Any of them boys?
I don't know actually. I believe at least I know the first one and the most recent one are girls. Bronze, I don't know. But
yeah, but generally, right? The women pick the names, right?
I would hope it would be at least somewhat collaborative.
Do you think Patrick Mahomes came up with those names?
I don't think he came up
Where's
with them.
Patrick Mahomes the second?
Wasn't he already a second?
Well, then the third.
Yeah.
Trey Holmes.
Yeah. Trey Mahomes. Yeah.
Well,
they're not good, Jay, but like you name your first one silver, then you go bronze. Now you're golden for your golden Tate. I get it, but
there's got to be a meaning. There's got to be some sort of family history with it.
What's your next one? Platinum, titanium? Where'd you go from here?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Crowbait got a funny. He's funny. He says, "Does that mean his favorite kid is obvious?"
Dang.
You only silver. You only bronze. You look at you.
Here's gold.
Yeah, you're third place. But anyways, I mean, look at that. The names are one thing, and nicknames are what you generally go by. Obviously, I don't go by my government name, so so
good timing on the bye week, though.
It is. I'm sure that
family planning.
Yeah, you gotta have a conversation with the doctor. Hey, right?
We're inducing.
Yeah,
if she's not coming, we're inducing.
Hey, I've talked to plenty of people when I was in class at Nebraska. I said we have a national championship coming up. We. Austin. So we need to do well on this test. Got me?
Do you understand?
Yeah. And they said, yeah. Now, everybody, I met one of my best friends that way. I won't tell you his name, but yeah. Man, right. His dad used to be the Lincoln High basketball coach.
Yeah.
Dollar Bill Zussman. Anyways,
you just told us his name.
No, that's his dad's name.
Okay, but we can figure it out now.
No, you can't. He can. That's my dude. He's my dude. And his name is Ryan. His name is Ryan Zussman. He's one of the best dudes out there. And my man has affinity for Jordan. When I watch him coach, he coaches some AAU stuff. He always he has the Jordan. He's like Sean Payton had the Jordan stuff. Yeah. And he be looking sweet too. Oh, he be rocking him. He be hyped too.
Let's go, Ryan.
Yeah, man. So, anyways, it's like in the state tournament, the coach for Pleasantdale that retired after they had that magical run, he wore his Jordan. So it kind of reminded me of Zussman. Anyways, good week as always. Appreciate you listening. Appreciate the text. We'll hopefully be talking to you on Monday after my teams win. Big upset city. Anyways, and the Huskers bounce back out there at Maryland. Jay Foreman, my man Austin Oerman, old school. We'll holler at you next week.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNT.